Hello, students. Very good evening. Today, we are going to start with our remaining topics for the ratios. Some important ratios that we were going to discuss in today's session. But before that, we will quickly have a glance about what is ratio analysis, and then we will move ahead. So what is ratio? Ratio is nothing but a numerical expression, the relationship between the two numbers. Ratio analysis is a financial analysis technique, students, that involves evaluating, interpreting ratios that is derived from our financial statements. And when you calculate the ratio, you can easily assess what is the company's performance, profitability, solvency, liquidity. Okay. Different types of ratios that we have according to the sources. Balance sheet ratio. That means both the variables, both the numbers for calculation of ratios would be from balance sheet. Profit and loss account ratio means those ratios where both the variables would be from the profit and loss. And interstatement or combined ratios are those in which you have a combination of both the numbers. That means from the ratios, we need two numbers. From that, one would be from balance sheet and the other would be from P&L, or it could be vice versa. One would be from P&L, other would be from balance sheet. So that is combined ratio. Now we will discuss some important ratios. The first ratio that we are going to discuss is the current ratio or your working capital ratio. Now, current ratio, student, is nothing but it is a matrix that measures the company's ability to cover its short-term liabilities with the short-term assets that it has. How do you find out current ratio? When you divide current assets by current liability, you get current ratio. The current ratio indicates that the liquidity of a company, its ability to meet the short-term obligation. अगर आपकी कंपनी का करंट रेशियो 1 है, it will indicate that the company has more current assets than current liabilities. That means you have a strong liquidity position. But अगर आपका ratio is below 1, it indicates that there is a difficulty in meeting its short-term obligations. So there you have to identify where all the necessary steps has to be taken. The ideal current ratio for a company is 2:1. That means 2 part would be your asset, 1 part would be your liability. Okay, just remember this. Now, you must be thinking, what is this current asset? What is this current liability? Now, current assets are those assets which can be easily converted into cash within a period of 12 months. Like your current investments, inventories, debtors, bills receivable, cash, short-term loans, advances. Current liabilities are those which has to be repaid within a period of 12 months. That is short-term borrowings, your creditors. Then we could have short-term provisions. So मतलब जो आपको within 12 months payment करना है, उसे आप current liability बोलोगे. एंड जो आपका असेट इजिली कन्वर्ट हो सकता है कैश में विद इन अ पीरियड ऑफ 12 months, दैट कुड बी योर करंट असेट्स. क्लियर? यस, नो? ओके, थैंक यू सो मच. नेक्स्ट वी हैव इज द लिक्विड और क्विक रेशियो. Liquid, or see, I'm going little slow because there are formulas you need to understand that. Okay, fine. So liquid or quick ratio is that which has has the ability to meet its short-term liabilities using the most liquid assets. अब आप बोलोगे इसमें और करंट रेशियो में क्या डिफरेंस है? इन दोनों में सिर्फ यही डिफरेंस है, जो हम करंट असेट्स में ये असेट्स लेते हैं जो हमारे इजीली कन्वर्ट हो सकते हैं कैश में विद इन द पीरियड ऑफ 12 months, करेक्ट? बट यहाँ पे जब आप वो कंसिडर करते हैं 12 मंथ्स का पीरियड, उसमें आप ये चीजें एक्सक्लूड करेंगे व्हेन यू कैलकुलेट लिक्विड रेशियो. इसके अलावा कोई भी दूसरी चीजें होगी दैट यू विल इंक्लूड, because these are also your current assets part, but you will exclude when you will calculate liquid assets or quick assets. Okay, that is the only difference. The ideal liquid ratio over here is 1:1. Okay, now what is the formula? Current assets minus inventory divided by current liabilities. क्लियर? यहाँ पे कोई डाउट है किसी को? स्विच ऑफ योर कैमरास. ओके, सो जब आप लिक्विड रेशियो की बात करते हैं, सो यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट हायर लिक्विड रेशियो विल इंडिकेट स्टूडेंट्स अ स्ट्रॉन्गर एबिलिटी to meet the short-term obligation. Okay, that means the company suggests that the ideal liquid ratio is 1:1. It depends upon industry to industry. Again, next we have is inventory turnover ratio. Now inventory is what? The stock, correct? So this ratio is also known as stock turnover ratio. So अगर आपको एग्जाम में in case inventory turnover ratio की जगह stock turnover ratio पूछा, so the stock, that's all. Now this ratio will tell you the efficiency of a company in managing its inventory. It will indicate how quickly a company sells its inventory, replaces the new stock. Okay, the formula to calculate the inventory turnover ratio is cost of goods sold divided by average inventory. Now, what is cost of goods sold? Cost of goods sold, students, is nothing but the direct cost of producing or purchasing the goods that were sold during that period of time, जिसे हम calculate करते हैं opening stock plus purchase minus closing stock, or you can either calculate it by minusing sales from the gross profit. Average inventory formula is opening stock plus closing stock divided by 2. अब आपको इन्वेंट्री टर्नओवर रेशियो तो मिल गया, बट आपको ये भी जानना है कितने दिन में इन्वेंट्रीज को आप वापस से सेल कर रहे हो, कितना क्विकली सेल कर रहे हो. सो फॉर दैट वी कैलकुलेट नंबर ऑफ डेज. Now the number of days formula is 365 days divided by ITR. Now ITR is nothing, students, but your inventory turnover ratio. Okay, it's the same thing. It's a short form. Clear? Any doubts till here? The formula, the sums that we are going to discuss, some sums that will be at the end. First, let us understand the theory part and the formulas. Then you have debtors turnover ratio. Now, who are debtors? Your customers. So this debtor turnover ratio will tell you how effectively a company collects the payment from the customers. It indicates the number of times a company collects its account receivable. Okay. So a data turnover ratio will provide you student the insight about how effectively a company manages its credit sales, collect the payments from the customers. So when you have a higher ratio over here in the data's turnover ratio, it indicates that the company is collecting the account receivable more quickly. It is positive sign from for the company. It reduces the risk of bad debts because आपके पैसे जल्दी recover हो रहे हैं. But अगर आपका lower ratio आ रहा है, it means that the company is facing challenges in collecting the payments. Okay. The formula that we use over here is credit sales divided by average receivable. Now, how do you calculate average receivable? Debtors plus bills receivable. When you do, you get average receivable. And the formula for average collection period, कितने time में आपका collection हुआ है payment का? It is 365 days divided by the debtors turnover ratio. See students, in this chapter, there are formulas. You need to remember the formulas. हर एक चीज आपको सम में दी रहेगी. आपको formulas में वो substitute करना है properly. If you know the formulas, you will get the answer correct. So that is the reason formulas needs to be by heart. Then you have creditors turnover ratio. Now, who are your creditors? Your suppliers. So this indicates how efficiently a company is paying to its suppliers. Okay. The number of times a company pays its account payable. Fine. So the formula that we use over here for creditors turnover ratio is credit purchase divided by average account payable. An average account payable will calculate when you add creditors and the bills payable. An average payment period you calculate with the formula of 365 days divided by creditors turnover ratio. Then you have debt equity ratio. Now, what is debt equity ratio? Debt equity ratio indicates the relative contribution of debt holders and your equity holders to the company's capital structure. It tells you the relationship between the long-term debt and the equity. The ideal debt equity ratio is 2:1. Okay. So your debt will include your bank loans, your debentures, your bonds, and equity, the proprietor funds or total equity will include your equity share capital, your preference share capital. Okay. So the debt equity ratio will provide you the insight about the company's financial leverage, the extent to which the company relies on the debt financing. Fine. The formula that we use over here is borrowed funds divided by borrowed funds plus proprietary fund, or you can also use total debt divided by total equity, depending upon the sums. Then you have gross profit ratio. Gross profit ratio tells you about the profitability of company's core operations when you compare the gross profit to net sales. So it is a difference between your net sales and the cost of goods sold, students. So the formula that we use for gross profit ratio is gross profit divided by net sales into 100. Then we have net profit ratio. Net profit ratio tells you about the, you can say net income, net earnings of a company after you deduct all the expenses, that is your operating expense, your interest expense, your non-operating items. Okay. The formula that we use over here is net profit divided by net sales into 100. Now this net profit is an indicator, you can say, of a company's profitability, financial performance. It reflects the company's ability to generate the profit from its core operation, manage the expenses effectively. Then you have earning per share. Muskan, what did you not understood? It is just the formulas and the meaning of the ratios that we are talking about, nothing else. We have not solved the sum yet. The thing, as I told you, आपको formulas याद रखने हैं. आपको एग्जाम में सिंपल आएगा. Let's say calculate current ratio. So what did you not understand from this? Yes, Muskan. As I told you all students, examples I will take. Let me complete this. Don't rush. पहले theory part हो जाने दो, फिर हम example करेंगे. I told this in the mid also. The same thing. Earning per share. Earning per share is nothing but the financial metrics that the on per share basis. It indicates the portion of a company's earning that could be attributed from the total number of shares outstanding. This earning per share is used by the investors, by the analysts, because उन्हें ये पता चलता है कि कंपनी की profitability क्या है. They can compare it with other companies. एक कंपनी का शेयर 10 रुपीज का है, एक कंपनी का शेयर प्रॉफिट 12 रुपीज का है. So they can easily compare it from earning per share. The formula that we use over here is net profit divided by total number of shares outstanding. Okay. I think my screen is visible to everyone. So we'll solve some sums to understand how basically this works out. How are we going to use the formulas? How you will get the questions? Okay. Is the screen visible, everyone? Okay. It's already very big. You want me to zoom more, so you will not get the sum in one page then. It's already very big. The font is big. Calculate current ratio from the following information. The details are given to you. inventories, trade receivable, advance tax, cash and cash equivalent, trade payables, short-term borrowing, that is bank overdraft. So we are supposed to calculate what? Current ratio. So what was the formula for current ratio? Current assets divided by current liability. Now, firstly, we need to segregate from this कि कौन से items current asset के हैं, कौन से items current liabilities के हैं. So you all tell me in the chat box now quickly. Inventory is what? Current asset or current liability? Yes, quickly. Very good. Super. It's current asset. Trade receivable, current asset or current liability? Super. Again, that's a current asset. Great. Advance tax. I cannot read out the no. Who is this? Ratin, Bhuvan, Sankalp. No, it's not liability. Saurav, Gauri. It's not liability. Advance means you have paid before. Prepaid. Advance is what? Prepaid. So prepaid goes where? Yes? Yes, that's asset. Very good. So that's current assets. See, आपको यहाँ टर्मिनोलॉजी अलग दी है, इसका मतलब आप कंफ्यूज नहीं हो जाओगे. Advance is nothing but your prepaid, and prepaid is what? Current asset. Cash and cash equivalent. Very good. Current asset. Super. Trade payable. Great. Current liability. Somebody has given the answer also to me. Super. Current liability. And short-term borrowing, that is your bank overdraft, is again your current liability. Super. अब हमने सेग्रीगेट तो कर लिया, अब हम इसे फॉर्मूला में सब्स्टिट्यूट करेंगे. तो फर्स्टली हम करंट असेट का टोटल कर लेते हैं सो दैट वी कैन डायरेक्टली सब्स्टिट्यूट द आंसर्स. वी हैव इन्वेंट्री प्लस ट्रेड रिसीवेबल प्लस advance tax plus cash. So the total comes out to be 50,000 plus 50,000 plus 4,000 plus 30,000. That is 1,34,000 is your current asset. Now same way we will total it for current liability also. That is trade payable plus bank overdraft. That is 1 lakh plus 4,000. That comes out to 1,04,000. Okay. अब हमें दोनों नंबर्स तो मिल गए, फिगर्स मिल गए. अब हम क्या करेंगे? अब हम इसे सब्स्टिट्यूट करेंगे इन आवर फॉर्मूला. द करंट असेट वाज 1,34,000 divided by current liability is 1,04,000. So what is your answer? Everybody, very good. 1.28 or 1.29. It's matter of approximation, that both is correct. So 1.29 or 1.28 is to 1. Ideal ratio हमने कैसे लिखा था? 2:1, right? तो हमेशा आगे is to 1 आएगा. Okay, don't forget that. So our current ratio is 1.29 is to 1. Clear, everyone? Understood how to calculate? Easy. Avdesh, advance tax is prepaid. So prepaid expenses are your assets part. Your liability has outstanding, जो आपको pay कर रहा है. Okay. So don't get confused over there. Clear now? Any doubts in this sum? Anyone? Yes, yes. We have studied this before. Okay. Just students give me a second, okay? Just a minute. Huh? Okay. So clear, Muskan? So firstly, you need to remember the formula as I told you all. That's very important. Second, once you get the sum, you will segregate the items and then substitute it in the formula. This is how simple it is. Okay. The role main plays is of the formula. I think host can stop the chats. We'll take the chats at the end. Okay. Shravani, what happened? We will discuss it at the end. Whatever queries you have, lower down your hand. Next sum which we are going to solve is for the debt equity ratio. Okay. Now debt equity ratio is what we discussed. Now we are going to study how are we going to solve it. So the formula for debt equity ratio is borrowed funds divided by borrowed funds plus proprietary funds. What all we have? 5% debenture, which is your borrowed funds. 8% preference capital, that is your proprietary fund. And equity capital is also your proprietary fund. So I want you all to solve it. Solve karo ise. The formula is in front of you. Try to get the answer. There is nothing difficult in it. So try to get the answer. I will solve it, but pehle aap try karo. Once it is done, show me the thumbs up. थम्स अप दिखा के क्विकली डाउन भी कर लो सो दैट नहीं तो मुझे लगेगा कुछ डाउट्स है. Great. I think everybody solved it. ठीक है. So let us solve so that you can tally your answer. So first same way हम पहले borrowed funds देखते हैं, which is 5% debenture, which is nothing but 6 lakh. एक ही है. Then proprietary funds is your 8%, sorry, 8% preference share capital plus equity capital. Okay. So the amount would be 3 lakh plus 5 lakh. That comes out to 8 lakh. अब हमें अमाउंट्स मिल गए. अब हम सब्स्टिट्यूट करते हैं फॉर्मूलाज में. बोरोड फंड्स हमारा है 6 लाख डिवाइड बाय अगेन 6 लाख plus 8 lakh. So we have 6 lakh divided by 14 lakh. So what is the answer? आपको क्या आंसर आया है? Yes, 0.428 is to 1. Something like this. Yes, no. Okay, wait, I'll give you the option to chat. I think you can on the chat, Reena, so that I can take the queries now. Everybody got the same answer? Wait, just a minute, hold on. Okay, fine. Now you all can chat. Yes, post it in the chat box. Okay, got it. Super. See, you saw when with this both the sum, that great. Everybody got the correct answer. Super. That the only thing that you need to know is the formula. Rajat Mondal. What is the difference between debenture and preference share? Debentures are what? Your bonds, your unsecured, you have taken it from somebody, okay? And then you have to repay it back. Those are like creditors. It's like you can say loan, जैसे आप वापस से repay करना है आप, okay? But other one was preference. Okay, preference share capital is nothing but the capital holdings that the shareholder has, like equity. But preference वालों को थोड़ी extra benefit मिलती है. Fine. प्रियंका, नो, इट्स नॉट 8 लाख. यहाँ पे फॉर्मूला देखिए क्या है. बोरोड फंड्स प्लस प्रोप्राइटरी, तो बोरोड को भी लिखोगे ना आप वापस से, एंड उसके साथ प्रोप्राइटरी को ऐड करोगे, तब जाके आपको 14 लाख होता है. इट्स नॉट बोरोड फंड्स डिवाइड बाय प्रोप्राइटरी, इट्स डिवाइड में आपका बोरोड प्लस प्रोप्राइटरी है. सो दैट्स अ डिफरेंस. क्लियर? ओके. This is the formula. It's not given by me. Yes, you can put it in bracket also, no problem. Okay. Sachin, what happened? Post it in the chat box, whatever is your doubt. And who is this iPhone? You have raised your hand. Whatever query you have, you can post it in the chat box. Please lower down your hand. I'll move back to the slide. जब तक किसी को slides देखना है, they can just go through. So this type only the sums you have to solve. हमारे formulas है, formulas के basis पे आपको sum solve करने होंगे. Everything would be given in the question. The only thing is आपको formulas को learn करना होगा अच्छे से. The again and again the same thing I'm telling you. Who is this iPhone? Either rename yourself or whatever you want to say, post it in the chat box. Somebody wants the slide of meaning. Yes, this is the slide of the meaning that we discussed in the start. ये see it depends. Yes, you want the formula that data's turnover. Okay, wait, I'll just go to that. Just hold on. Yes, this is your data's turnover slide. Quickly take it. Yes, done. Creditors was one also you all want. This one is for creditors. Yes, done everybody. Okay. See, there are many formulas that we have. Okay. So it depends. You also have a formula like total liabilities divided by total share equity capital. So sum to sum depend karega. Fine. Yes, you will get it. The formulas list I will be sharing it. You all can get it. Okay. Fine. So this two sums that we solve, your current ratio and the debt equity ratio. So any doubts, any questions that you all have? Yes, you can use of this formula also. The answer will be the same, but it depends upon what question, what items are given, okay, in the question. Yes, any doubts, any other doubts? Rajat, you want to? हाँ, एग्जाम में सिंपल ही समझाएंगे, डोंट वरी. ओके. Okay, you want to see all the slides. Wait, quickly, let me just take it. Rajat, till the time I'll give you the option to unmute. Wait. Yes, you can, Arka. Yes, Rajat, what happened? Unmute.
हाँ मैम, बोल रहे थे जैसे डिवेंचर और वो हो गया, दोनों में डिफरेंस तो पता है, बट एक इक्विटी में जा रहा है, एक डेब्ट में आ रहा है, उसका डिफरेंस क्यों हो रहा है, बस वो जानना था.
मतलब
मतलब जैसे डिवेंचर और प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल था ना.
इक्विटी क्या होता है? इक्विटी ये होता है जब ओनर जो हमारे शेयर होल्डर्स
हाँ
है, जो ओनर्स होते हैं कंपनी को, उनको हम इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर बोलते हैं. ठीक है.
हाँ हाँ.
वो कंपनी को फंड्स, मतलब कंपनी में फंड्स लगाते हैं, तो
ये
ऑब्वियसली वो
सब
ओनर।
समझ आया। थैंक यू मैम।
अब
हम्म।
डिबेंचर होल्डर कौन होते हैं? जिन्होंने बाहर से पैसे लिए हैं, लाइक लोन्स।
हाँ, उन लोगों को कोई हक नहीं होता कंपनी पे, मतलब
हाँ,
कुछ भी वोटिंग
यस,
वगैरह। ठीक।
ठीक है।
हाँ ठीक। थैंक यू।
यस अवदेश, व्हाट हैपेंड? अनम्यूट।
मैम मेरे को डेट इक्विटी में डाउट है. Like
हाँ बोलो।
whenever equity has to consider, ma'am, in debt equity, only preference share and equity share and reserve and surplus, these are
हम्म,
added, no? Then why in your in your case, ma'am, you already added borrowed fund also in equity part.
see, there are different formulas that we have. बहुत formulas है
But debt
for debt.
equity का तो मैम नेट पे भी सेम इसी तरह आ रहा है.
नहीं, ये formulas भी है, आप सर्च करिए।
ओके मैम.
हाँ, that is the reason. There are many formulas. You can use that also, no problem. But अगर reserves है तो आप वो use करिए, no problem. Okay. So no doubts, I think. Okay. So thank you, students, for attending today's session. We will meet in the next session. Thank you. Have a great day. Take care.
Recording stopped.